So back on our quality couch talk. Still haven't got a name for that. Getting it a hand. But we talked in the last video. I just recorded one. Whether it's the last video now or whether you're seeing this first, I'm not sure. But I talked in that video about customer satisfaction and how I think we could really do it a lot better. I think we can really start to push the boundaries and the limits of experience and understand how to deliver an experience that matters to the customer, rather than trying just to deliver a decent product. Because you can have a decent product with a poor experience and your quality is through the floor. You're not going to get there. So let's link that then into objectives, the quality objectives. And I know if I just sort of reference the global average for non-failure, ISO 9001, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. ISO is not a bad thing. It's just not presented in a valuable or useful way. But we can absolutely use it to do amazing things. And in that clause 6, I mean, clause is a bad word as well, isn't it? God, unless it's Santa Clauses, who cares? But in that clause 6 area, it talks about the objectives. And in that objectives, it does reference customer satisfaction. But I think if we replace the word satisfaction with experience and we start developing objectives and implementing objectives to deliver a fantastic customer experience, then we might just be able to reposition what objectives means on top of company objectives, so your internal objectives, but on top of the company objectives, we could reposition what quality objectives actually mean. And I was telling the story about the shed at Dulwich in the customer experience video. So I'll tell another story because I think stories work well in these instances of a company I was working with in Brisbane, Australia. It's a small transport company, rail service provider, and their name is Queensland Rail. And I've got no problems talking about them because I worked with them for quite a while. But I was specifically working in the quality space. And one thing we realized after sort of traversing this whole ISO 9001 pathway, which had its ups and downs, and it was hard to get leadership really truly engaged, and so therefore it was hard to really get the full value out of it. But what we realized was that this thing can really be a fantastic tool to help drive customers to catching more trains. The question became, how do we get more customers to catch more trains? How do we deliver the maintenance part of the business in such a way that it can really help drive that customer experience? And there were 6 objectives that were being put into the business that ended up shaping the whole business, and everything inside of it started to evolve and change and adapt behind it. And they became the 6 quality objectives. And we synonymously just made them the quality objectives, and then we used them as the quality objectives to drive further growth and more efficiency and better effectiveness and all the good stuff that we want to be getting out of these efforts. And the 6 quality objectives came from understanding the customer experience. So we wanted to know, well, okay, how do we design something that customers love? How do we design a train service that customers absolutely love? And then that would make them prefer to catch a train rather than a bus or a ferry or an Uber or taxi or walking or bike riding or whatever the case may be. How do we get them to go, like, rather just catch a train, because it's a much better way to go about it. And there were 6 key focus areas, like I said, the quality objectives, just the business objectives, and I'll go through them right now. But the first one was availability. It was all about understanding, okay, the customers want trains when they want trains, not when we can give them to them. They want trains when they want them. So we need to make sure that trains are available. So everything in the business started to shift around understanding what were the busy periods, the peak periods, and the middle of the day and all that, sort of being inputs into scheduling and train timetabling and train crew scheduling and rostering. And then the maintenance windows that would sit in the trains to make sure that maintenance was being done on them so that we could have optimal number of trains for when customers wanted them. So availability, key. Good customer experience, availability. Got to be available when the customers want them. The second one, reliability. We don't want them to break down. Cat on a train, we don't want it to break down. It's pretty self-explanatory. You get on a train and it breaks down, you've got to get off the train and wait for something else, a bus or another train to come along. Not good. Bad customer experience would be when that happens. So, reliability. Got to make sure these things operate reliably. Third thing, safety. So we don't want these things to be hurting people. I guess that makes sense. We don't want them to hurt people. We don't want them to hurt the public. We don't want it to put people's safety in jeopardy. We also don't want it to hurt our own team members, our train drivers and guards and station crew and the rest of the people in the business that work around trains. We don't want these things to be presenting as safety risks. So they've got to be safe. Fourth thing, presentation. Got to be nice and clean. If you ever go to the footy and get on a train and it's full of bags of crap and things everywhere, dirty, and it smells, and the windows are scratched and seats torn, and it's just not a very nice experience. It's got to be presentable. It's got to be clean. So that became a serious customer experience objective: cleanliness, presentation. Fifth one, probably relevant for a lot of companies out there, I would say: on time. Got to run on time. Can't be late. So if there are expectations with your customers around time-bound objectives or KPIs, then yeah, the quickest way to create a bad experience is to not fulfill those. So time, on time, critical. Sixth and final one was for a good cost. Can't be having elevated business overheads that then pass through cost onto the ticket prices. We can't have tickets costing an absolute bloody mozza. It makes for a not very good experience when people have to pay an arm and a leg to be able to catch a train, to go to work, or to go see someone, or whatever the case may be. So, for a good cost. Now, they were the 6 quality objectives: availability, reliability, safe, presentable trains, on time, for a good cost. That's it. We nailed those 6 things. We knew that we had a brilliant customer experience. Now, can't go into the details of the results of all that, but all of the results from all of the measures around all of those various objectives were absolutely fantastic. We had great results across the board. And there was even a commercial link to that as well. So customers catching trains increased, which was really, really cool. But not only that, so that's customer experience. There's also one other objective that companies always seem to miss, and that's finances, revenue. Revenue, gross profit, your overhead costs, your net profit, your cash in bank, your work in progress, your assets and liabilities and your balance sheet. However it is that you measure your financial position as a company is a direct and tangible measure of your quality effort. At the end of the day, if you make more money, that's from more customers buying, or same customers buying more, or you selling more for a higher price. You're making more money. So in order to do that, you've got to have happy customers. You've got to have customers that are having a great experience, or at the very, very, very least, satisfied. That is what the definition of quality is. And so if you have poor quality, less customers buy, less money made. Great quality, more customers buy, more money made. So money, finances, is a fantastic quality objective. And so all of what we're doing is just taking our company objectives, our business objectives, and bringing them into how we're objectively measuring the effectiveness of the quality management system, i.e. the business. It's exactly the same thing. That's the key. It's just a different perception and a different way of looking at it. All right. I'll leave it there. We're just about to touch 10 minutes. I don't want these to go over 10 minutes, but another quality couch talk done, or couch quality talk done, and with the help of my 2 dogs who are either side of me asleep. But anyway, look, take care. I hope this was helpful, and and there's plenty more discussion coming out around this topic as well. So let's keep this one going and see what value we can bring for you and your companies, and see how we can further facilitate the quest to build fantastic companies of the future. All right, see you soon.